Right, here's a question for all of us. When is a mop and bucket... Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
I didn't bring you here to make messes.
Yes, you brought me to clear them up, but I need a mess to start with. So I've put some ketchup on the floor. I've put some mustard on there as well. All we need now is the hot dog. This is going to be absolutely fantastic. There's some brown sauce as well. And I'm going to show you a lot of other things. I'm going to show you wine. I'm going to put an egg on there as well, just to show. There's some flour just to mix it up and just to make it very difficult. Now, if you had a mess like that, what would you do? You'd be on your hands and knees. You maybe get a mop. The problem with using normal mops is they are actually quite difficult to use because of the fact that you can't drain them out.
Yeah.
Now with this one, I'll show you in a moment how it works. Let me just show you what it does though. There it is spinning out all of the, you can see all of the water out of the mop head. I'm going to place it onto the mess that we've got there and just simply move it around. And what you'll see is it picking up all of the dirt. Now when I've done that, I'm going to go back into the bucket. I'm going to rinse the mop head and give it a second go to get in fact I don't need to give it a second go because as you can see there it's picked up all of that rubbish and that is now clean and you can see all of the dirt is in the mop. That goes into the bucket itself and all you do is you simply spin it around and then that just has a little tilt on it. Then you just simply rotate it in the bucket and it will drain. There we go. I'll learn how to use this one day. It's actually very simple, but
there's a knack to it, but once you've got the knack, this is absolutely fantastic because you can see what a dirty mess that was.
Yeah, and there you can see how it drains all of the dirt out of that and you can go over it and the job is completely and utterly done. Simple and as easy as that. Now, it comes with 2 spare heads as well, so you actually get 3 heads with this. The heads are very easy to exchange. You just pull them out and you clip a new one in. I'm going to carry on using this because it's not ready for washing, but you can throw it in a bowl and wash it and rinse it out. That's got a click on it so it leans backwards and forwards, and then you can just pop it into the bucket. You don't need to touch it with your hands. Pop it into the bucket, and to make it spin, you simply press down on the handle.
So it's spinning on both sides. So on that side, it's spinning out all of the nasties that you've just picked up. It's dumping those into the water.
Yes.
And then the other side's a bit like a salad spinner, isn't it?
It is really. It's the same principle. So that bounces up and down, and that comes out. And actually, as I do that, you can see more and more of the liquid coming out of that mop. And as I lift it up, you can see it's actually pretty much bone dry. And at that point, if I go over that surface, as you can see there, I'll show you now how dry that is, because that's come out of the bucket and straight onto the floor. If I take a paper towel and I just dab over the surface, just watch what happens. Look. There's no moisture or water on that surface. So not only has it cleaned all of the rubbish off the surface, but it's left it bone dry.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I know fair well, and you do as well, that we can walk into our supermarkets any day of the week we like and we can pick up a mop and bucket. But I have to say, the buckets are actually quite weak. That's the best claret, you know. The buckets are quite weak and the mops are quite thin and stringy and they're difficult to actually clean with. So often you give up on them.
Yeah.
Hang on. Egg and wine. It's cheese and wine at parties, not egg and wine.
Well, let me just show you. If you did drop a mess like that on the floor, anything like that, it is a bit of a disaster and you'd be wondering, what are you going to do about it to get it all up off the floor? Well, let me show you something. Very simple with this mop. What happens is, you take the mop, it simply drops into the bowl. I've put, by the way, a little bit of our Floormaster liquid power. Now, this is a 500ml bottle. It's a fantastic item. It's designed for use with the spin mop.
It has. We've got a bit of a deal on that on our website, but I'm going to tell you about that a little bit later. But I tell you what, for you watching right at home right now, because you're watching the live demonstration, I might have a bit of a treat coming up on that, but let's hold that thought for a moment.
Is it a price crash treat?
Well, who knows?
There you go. Well, all I'm going to do is put a little splosh of that into the bucket. That's all you need. About 4 or 5 capfuls or a splosh. You know, that'll do it. A splosh. And that will, what that does is that actually maintains the cleanliness of the mop head, and it helps to get rid of all of the rubbish out of the mop head itself.
Smells nice as well.
It does, doesn't it? Now again, I'm just spinning that in there. You don't have to spin it completely dry, just a couple of pushes down with it.
It's good fun though.
It is, and that's ready for action. Now there's the red wine. Actually, it's picking all of that up. Now what will happen is it will, as it picks it all up, it will stain the mop head. But you see, the good news is you can put that mop head into the washing machine and you can quite simply wash it out, and you can put a new mop head on, because you don't just get one, you get 3. So where you'd go to the store and you'd buy a mop and you pay a fortune for it sometimes, they're not cheap. The good ones are not cheap at all. So where you pay a lot of money for a mop and you only get 1 mop, with this effectively you're getting 3.
3. And I tell you what, I've never seen a mop be able to eat an egg like that. Have you? Look at this. Now, you've got this at $24.99. Now, I said before, right at the very beginning, when is a mop and bucket not a mop and bucket? When it's a spin mop, when it can spin out all of the nasties out of the water and then spin the mop dry independently. Now, that's really good at $24.99. Now, what you're getting with your mop, of course, is the mop itself, as David said, with not just 1 head, but it's got 2 spare heads as well. Throw one in the wash. You might want one specifically for one room in the house, like the bathroom, for instance. But remember we talked about the Floormaster Floor Clean? Well, that's $9.99 a bottle. It's a trade formula, and David knows that it works incredibly well. We've got a deal on the website for 3 bottles at £15. But remember, I said for you, if you're watching the live demonstration right now, I will include those absolutely free of all charge. So you're getting another £15 worth of Floormaster, and if you want to order that separately, you absolutely can on our website. It has its own item number for 3 bottles at $14.99. But you're actually getting this included right now for your price tag of $24.99. Give us a call right now, 0808 123 3333. That's a free call. This is brilliant. If you're like me, and I don't have carpets in my house at all, got a couple of rugs and that's about it. The rest of it is stone floors and wooden floors. And I tell you what, this is brilliant, and I've got a cat at home, so there's fur all over the place, and I'm forever having to mop. But with those rubbish mops that are thin and stringy, these, with their microfiber heads, are brilliant because they are big and fluffy. I mean, you've just seen one eat an egg within seconds like that. This is really, really good at $24.99. Get yourself on the phone lines. That is really, really good. And the Floormaster is so good to use with it.
Well,
I thought we'd give away 3 bottles as well. Why not?
No, absolutely. And we've picked up a whole load of stuff. We picked up ketchup, all the sauces, the mustard, the red wine, and the mop head still looks in really, really good condition. So what happens is, because you put the Floormaster in the bucket, it's actually cleaning the mop head as it's cleaning the floor.
And you can just pop that head into the machine, can you?
Yes, you can. Yeah, they just simply pop on and off. Now, the great news with this system is, if you've got laminate floors, you'll know that you're not supposed to wet them.
No.
They say don't wet mop the floor, don't saturate or soak it or wet it in any way. With this mop, because you spin it in the bucket, it dries the mop head itself. So the head is virtually bone dry. And just to show you there, because I've just spun that in the bucket, I've mopped over the surface, and let me take the paper and I'll show you on here how it actually, there we go, it actually is dry on the surface. Now, the good news is that if you've got a laminate floor, you don't want to soak and saturate it. You don't want to cause any problems with that at all. That can be just slightly damp and not soaking wet. The worst thing you can do is put lots and lots of water on a laminate.
Yeah, no, and also, actually, you don't want that situation where, you know what, you've just brought the dog in for a walk, it's walked its muddy paws across the floor, you want to give it a quick mop, and you don't want everyone to have to evacuate for half an hour while you wait for it to dry. This is pretty much drying it instantly, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think this is such a good price as well, I have to say. $24.99, because how many cheap mops and buckets have you gone through over these? You get the cheap ones from the supermarket, you get the bucket full of water, you pick it up and the handle comes off.
Yes, that's right. Well, with this one, the great thing is about it, you don't just get the one head, and by the way, that's how the heads pop in and out. You get 3 of the heads with it, so you get 3 brand new heads, pop them in, they just clip into place. It assembles very easily, you just click that in, turn the screw, and it locks into place. You've got another locking nut here, which is that, and that's basically it. There's nothing more to it. Unscrew that to allow it to spin in the bucket, and the job is done. You can get the mop as wet or as dry as you want, because you're in charge of this. The good news is, all you do is you push down. So I'm not putting a lot of force on that, I'm just using a little bit of weight of my hand on there, and it's spinning around. You don't have to wring. You know the old mops with the bucket, and you've got to wring it and twist it.
And it never seemed to get everything out, did it?
They're very hard work. This does it for you. This is actually doing, all I'm doing is bouncing that down. and this is doing the work for you. So the mop head, you can have it wet, you can have it dry, whichever you want. Now I'm going to just pick up, I've put brown sauce, I've put flour, and I've put mustard on there. We'll do an egg later. Okay, I had my egg, you can have one later.
Oh, great, thank you.
But just watch how it picks that up. Now backwards and forwards, all you do is go around and it will pick up in the mop head itself, it will pick up all of the rubbish, and that, I think you'll agree with me, is brilliant. I mean, not many people have that much of a mess on the floor. You might have some footprints, you might have the pets coming in and out, or the children, they don't wipe their feet as they come in and out, but this is going to do the job for you. Now again, remember it's got that click device on there which allows that to go down and underneath things, so if you're going under a table, that'll go at that angle, or it'll go straight and it'll go at the other angle, so it'll work.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So you can mop under furniture as well without
Yes.
having to move the furniture around, especially dining table where people, you know, have dropped crumbs and bits and pieces as well.
Exactly.
Under the table. You can go under the dining room chairs, under the dining table. You can go to the corners as well, which is really, really good. Right, let's talk about this deal and how good this is, because for your $24.99, and I'd be on the phone lines as quick as you can for this one, because again, we can never know how long our stocks will actually last on something like this. We do have a good stock, but it will dwindle very, very quickly, because we already know, we've had this on air before at Price Crash, and we already know it's a very, very popular item. And actually, I think this is our biggest bumper deal we've ever done on anything like this, actually. We've got, remember, the bucket plus your mop with its 3 heads. So it comes with one already, and you've got 2 spare as well. So you can pop one in the machine, and you can keep changing them as many times as you like, which is brilliant. They just go in the washing machine. I was going to say wash and wear, but wash and use again and again and again. Now, the Floor Master with this, we're adding to the deal as well. It is an item on its own, by the way, those 3 bottles, which have a trade price of $9.99 each, but we do a bundle of 3. In fact, there's the item number on the right-hand side there, 684945 at £14.99 if you want to buy the 3 bottles separately. But because you're watching the live demonstration right now, or this demonstration you're watching now, we're actually including this at no extra charge. So this is $14.99 worth of the Floor Master. You don't need a lot of it either. It lathers up really well. It smells nice and pleasant as well, which is what you want when you've mopped the floors. There's nothing like the smell of an old mouldy mop, is there? $24.99. Grab this quickly while you can. 0808 123 3333. Hey, my egg.
Here's your breakfast. Now, the other thing I was going to say about the reason that we give the extra heads is because you might want to keep one particular head for a particular room. So you might have a bathroom and you want to use the head there. You might have a kitchen that you want to use a separate head in there. So you can swap them about. They're easy to swap. So you can if you want to keep that separation, then that is fine. The great thing about it is they come clean. You use it into the bucket like I've shown you here. It's fantastic. Place it in the bucket, bounce it up and down. It's a non-slip formula, by the way. The
Floor Master,
yeah,
right?
It's a
okay.
non-slip formula. So what that means is it's not a detergent. If you use something like a washing up liquid on your floor, you'll notice that it's very slippy, and it will actually leave you a slippy surface to walk on. With this, it's not. How do you like your eggs, by the way?
Oh, well done.
Well, oh right. Well, this is Sunnyside, so you'll have to make do. So it's a non-slip. If you use a detergent, it will leave a slippy residue on the floor, and this won't, though. This will actually get rid of all of the rubbish and leave it virtually bone dry. So the great news is, use it without any problems for the pets, the children, the husband, whichever. Or in fact, it should be the husband doing the mopping in this day and age. And you put your feet up. But this is so quick and easy. It's going to make your life a pleasure to use this, and it's going to make it so much easier.
Can I just say to you, have a look at the mop you've got. Actually, you can probably smell it from where you are right now, actually, because you know what happens. They go mouldy and they stink to high heaven, don't they? Remember, this is actually cleaning the mop as you're actually doing the cleaning. So it's actually doing 2 jobs in one.
Yeah.
It's cleaning your surfaces, but it's also cleaning the mop at the same time. But let me ask you this. If I gave you an egg right now, and I don't have one to give you, I can't reach all the way to where you are at the moment, but if I said to you, go crack an egg in your kitchen and see if your mop can pick it up, how long would it take? How long would it even be able to do it? This, I think I know it's a simple demonstration, David, but there's not many mops on the market that could literally eat an egg.
And I think the reason for that is when you look at the head, because it's got this central hole in it, it actually encapsulates all of the dirt. So I can put my hand through that, but actually it gets onto the dirt and it grabs it and it holds it inside the mop. And that's what helps it to pick everything up, even the solid bits.
And you see how fluffy those fibres are. Now, obviously, they look slightly different when they're wet, but it's these microfibres in here that are doing all of that. It's like little suction cups, if you like, that are picking up all of the dirt, but then it will release it when you spin it all out again.
It will indeed. And of course, remember, it's got that central screw on there, so you can lock it into position. So if you're doing a lot of mopping and you want to just go around and do everything, otherwise, what happens is you've got the ability to then spin it into the bucket, and you can just turn that screw on there and put it in the bucket and spin. Brilliant machine, brilliant tool. Pull that out if you want to change the head, and you can put a brand new one on. I'll show you that now. So all you do is you just give it a little tug. That comes out, that goes into the washing machine, take a fresh head, wash the old one out, and bingo, you've cracked it.
Well, we've got a fresh head. Let's make a fresh mess then, shall we? How about I make a mess this time?
You make a mess, yeah.
I'll give you a little bit of a challenge because, you know, ketchup and things like that, you can spill very, very easily. What else should we get? I do like the mustard. It looks quite nice, doesn't it? Let's give it another mustard. Have you got a third egg there?
Yes, there's another egg.
Let's have another egg for it to eat, shall we?
Yes, chef.
Why not?
There we go.
There we go. There we go.
And do you want to put a bit of flour on that?
I'll take the shell back.
I'm not sure what the dish is called, but it looks like it's going to be something.
It's not quite ready, steady cook, is it?
No. So there goes the flour on there as well. So it is actually probably, and you know, and then we shouldn't recommend that you have a little alcoholic drink, but you know, a glass of red wine.
Well, you know, as long as you do it responsibly, one at a time, I always say.
Yes, that's it. There we go. There goes the red wine. Now that's going to be no problem at all. If I take the mop, I can spin it. You can see it's coming out virtually dry. I'm going to go over this twice because we have got a lot of rubbish on the surface here. There's how you use it, backwards and forwards, round and round, side to side, and it will pick up all of that rubbish. In fact, I say I'm going to do it twice, but it's pretty much got the mess there.
Well, the thing is, what we've done here, and you know what, we don't want to fake our demonstrations at all. And actually, the reason David's adding flour to that is to make it more of a challenge. Because you know what, we're not just going to say, okay, well, pass over and that's it. It's magic. It's just leapt off the floor. We want to give it a real challenge. So that was red wine. That was a whole egg. That was mustard. That was tomato ketchup. And it was flour as well. Now, adding flour, see how filthy that mop head is before it goes back into the bucket. That is absolutely filthy because there's a whole egg in there. There's red wine. It stinks. It's horrible. Let's get rid of all of that. See how the spin mop actually cleans the mop as well.
Yeah, and it's the liquid power as well that does it. So Floormaster is a fantastic product. As I said, it will clean all of the rubbish. It helps to pick up and absorb. What it does is it prevents the floor from becoming slippy because it's not a detergent. And there you can see, there it goes again on the floor, virtually bone dry. And that is fantastic. It really, really is.
Right, now listen, we're going to see more demonstrations of this in just a second, but I think it really is time for you to make that decision right now and say to yourselves, right, okay, I've got an old stringy mop. Maybe you've got one of the old galvanized metal buckets. It's really heavy. It's really onerous. You know, you've got it filled up and it's, you know, it's quite a drag. It's spilling water all over the place. Remember, with the spin bucket, you've actually got the two sides to it. One side is actually spinning all of the dirt out of the mop. The other side then spins all of the water out of the cleaner mop, and that means that you are actually cleaning the floor rather than just moving the dirt around from one place to another. Remember how clean and dry it leaves the floors as well, so you can walk on them within a few seconds rather than having to say, nobody come in my kitchen for half an hour while the floor dries. You know what it's like. No one wants that situation. You've got the full kit here, remember. So you've got the mop and you've got the bucket. You've got the two spare heads, so it actually comes with 3 in total, has one on board already, plus 2 spares. And remember, you see on the right hand side there, you've got the red bubble there, which gives you an item number for the 3 bottles of Floormaster at $14.99. In fact, there should be $9.99 each, but that's aside from this. You don't need that item number on the right hand side of that screen because we're including one of those $14.99 bundles with this if you buy the spin mop right now at $24.99. So It's a free call, not going to cost you a penny. We'll deliver it to you as quick as we possibly can so you can start enjoying this, so you can start seeing the benefits of having this. It's a really, really good idea. And I have to say, if you think even the biggest names in mops, and we all know who they are because you can pick them up in the supermarkets and lots of different places right now, think about how much you pay for replacement mop heads. That's why they make the initial deal good, because they will then have you for mop heads in the future. You've got 3 mop heads included already with this one, so you won't need to be buying in the future. If you want more Floormaster in the future, you know where to come and find it with us, but those 3 bottles are going to go a long way, because let's talk to David actually about how far those bottles will go as well. Because this does, you know, we are diluting it, David, so we're not using masses of it.
You're right, you're absolutely right. It does say here for all hard floors, fresh fragrance, trade formula, and it says dilute up to 40 times
brilliant.
With warm water. Typically you use warm water in your mop bucket. 40 times means you can just put 2 or 3 capfuls into the bucket. Nobody bothers with measuring though, do they?
No,
you want to do it. All I'm going to do is just go a little splosh like that, and that will be enough. So 40 times, which gives you effectively 40 of these bottles. It's going to go a long way. Plus you get 3.
I know.
You're giving 3 in the kit, so it's fantastic.
Great, isn't it?
Yeah, it is fantastic. I mean, if you pay £12, £15, £20 for a mop, you only get 1 mop head. That's, you know, ridiculous, really, when you think about it. You get 1 mop head.
Yeah.
With this, you're getting 3. You can interchange them, and it does work on all hard floors. Whether it's a lino, whether it's stone, whether it's tiles, it doesn't make any difference if it's a laminate floor or a hardwood floor. The great news: this is the only mop that's recommended, I would say, for laminate floors and hardwood floors, because they do not want to be soaked or wet.
No.
The wood will expand. It will blow, it will cause a problem, and the laminate will split, so you mustn't overwet it. So it's bad enough if you have a liquid spill, but when you use the mop on it, it's going to draw that up very quickly, and it's going to leave the surface virtually bone dry, because actually it's taking all of the moisture completely off the surface. Now that's brilliant. There's all of the dirt in the mop head, you can see it there. You take that, take it flat like that, pop it into the bucket, rotate it by just pushing down on the handle. You don't have to press a pedal, you don't have to turn some switches on.
Yeah.
It does it all for you. Just press down on the handle, put it into the spinner, and you can then dry that as dry as you want. And all of the water comes out of it. It does have a nice fresh fragrance as well,
it does.
doesn't it?
It's lovely. In amongst all the sauce, the mustard, the red wine, and the eggs and everything, you can actually, they're masked by the pleasant smell of the Floormaster itself, and it really does do a good job. It's funny, isn't it? Because, you know, mop and buckets have been around as long as most of us have been around. Do you know what I mean? And actually, they haven't changed much over the years. Those old stringy mops that, you know, Grandma used to have and everything else, they weren't really any good, were they? You forever have to boil wash them and whatever. They used to pong, quite frankly, which is why you put them in the furthest away cupboard you possibly could.
Yep.
These don't take up a lot more room than a regular mop and bucket, which is great. You get all of the spares and the accessories that you're going to need. It's also not particularly heavy either, which is really, really good. And you've got all of the Floormaster that you need. So one cost, £24.99. That's it, job done.
And Derek, it's on wheels as well, so it does slide around a lot easier. So if you want to move it about, it is actually on wheels, so it makes it a lot more manoeuvrable and easy to move around.
Brilliant.
So remember how it works. It is brilliant. You pop it into this side, you press it down. There's a special fixing in the bottom of the bucket, so it's not just an empty bucket. It's actually got special parts to it. So it's an engineered piece of equipment. It isn't just a plain bucket. You spin it round in there to rinse the mop head. You place it in there to dry the mop head and get rid of the liquid out of it, and bingo, you're back in business.
All right, listen, we are about to run out of time on this one. We will be moving on very, very shortly. So I would say now would be a good time to just, you know, take a moment. If you're on Sky Plus or Sky Q or one of those, you can press pause while you go and make the call. 0808 123 3333. Listen, we know mops and buckets, not the most exciting thing in the world, but actually, if we've got something different to show you, if we've got something which will change the way you mop around the house, which means that you won't have that stress involved involved. You won't have those mouldy, stinking mops, that aren't really picking up anything, that are dirty, they've never really come clean, you're just moving the dirt around from one place to another. Then actually we think it's worthy of spending half an hour talking to you about it. But look at the deal that we're getting here as well. Remember, you're getting the mop itself, the Magic bucket. I just love that bucket. It's brilliant. You'll actually enjoy doing this job because it'll do it cleaner, it'll do it quicker, and it'll do it better than your current mop. I guarantee that. I just think that's absolutely amazing. In my opinion, I think this is one of the cleverest mops, and who'd ever have thought they'd be saying that out loud? One of the cleverest mops they'd ever seen. There you go. You can get excited about mops. Remember, with this you've got the 3 heads, so you're getting the one that comes on board the mop plus the 2 spares. So as soon as you're done with one and you think it's ready and you think it's grubby or whatever, throw it in the washing machine, pop on one of the others. They're easy to interchange, and you're getting the Floor Master as well. Remember, these 3 bottles, they're on their own item number at a price of $14.99, but because you're watching this demonstration right now, we're actually including that pack, which is a $14.99 value. You can see here we're including that at no extra charge. So it's $24.99 and that's it. Remember, if you've got other item numbers as well, do it all in one call, and it is only 1 P&P per order. You call us free. Honestly, you couldn't want for anything else from us. 0808 123 3333. Now listen, housework, it's one of those things that these days we're all busy. We're all very, very busy people. We haven't got the time to dedicate that we kind of used to. Back in the day, we used to have, be a dedicated day. Today is housework day, and it will take from 9 o'clock in the morning till late in the afternoon, and everyone comes home. But we just don't have that time these days.
I know, and everything that you can find that makes the job easier is going to be a benefit to you. So this is really going to make the job a lot easier. Remember, you can change. Hold on to the egg.
Okay, thank you.
Remember,
some kind of trick.
You can change the head. They just simply pull out. So you can get rid of that one. I'll just pop it there, and I'll put a new one in just to show you. Now, if you've got a particular room that you want to keep a particular cleaning mop head for, then you can do that, and you can swap it over. So if you've got a bathroom, an ensuite, or somewhere with a hard floor, tiled floor, whatever, you can use one particular mop head and dedicate it to that room. Or you can just chuck it in the washing machine, reuse them. You get the 3 mop heads with it. So it's absolutely brilliant the way it works. I'm not changed the water in here, by the way.
No, for the whole, and half an hour we've been demonstrating this.
Yep, and it's the same water. So again, you pop that into the bucket, you bounce it up and down, and that's going to load it, and there you can then put it into the spinner and watch what happens. All of the excess liquid comes out of that just by bouncing the handle, and there it is, virtually bone dry, which is fantastic. Are you going to do the egg thing?
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
I love this.
Stand back.
there you go. Because that's what we do. You don't actually spill an egg tidily, do you? I'm going to take the shell back. Yeah. I'm not going to expect the mop to do that.
Well, it probably will pick up the shell. I'm pretty sure of that as well. Because of the way the mop head is designed, it's actually got a special shape to it that encapsulates all of the dirt and the grime, and it pulls it up off the floor. So the good news is that actually this mop will do pretty much all of the work for you. All you're going to have to do,
and that's a proper challenge. Putting flour on top of it makes it bind everything together, doesn't it?
That's right. I'm going to have the mop slightly wetter because we've got a lot of dry stuff there as well with the flour. All you do is place the mop onto the surface, move it backwards and forwards, and watch it encapsulate all of the dirt in a matter of seconds. I mean, that's probably the biggest mess you would ever have. Most people have footprints, pets coming in and out without wiping their feet, which is general. But with this, you're going to find that it will clean all of that rubbish. There we go. It's even got all of that egg, every part of it, and it picks it up and it goes into the bucket. Now you take the mop, you place it in the bucket, you bounce it up and down. There we go. And what happens is you place it in, bounce it up and down on the handle, and it rinses all of the dirt completely and utterly out of the mop. Absolutely brilliant. Then into the spinner, and it takes the liquid out of there as well. Now it's ready to go back and finish off. And watch this when I lift it out. It's not spraying water all over the place because that mop head is virtually bone dry.
And it's drying the floor as well. Now listen, we have run out of time, but we've given this some actual genuine challenges. David, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
As always, I've enjoyed our egg fight. That was great, I love that. This is really, really good. I would get hold of this as quickly as you possibly can. If you're like me and you've you've got lots of stone floors and wooden floors. In fact, my whole house is pretty much stone floors and wooden floors. So this is going to be really, really useful because it'll get the job done quickly. It'll get it done efficiently. Remember, you're getting the Floor Master cleaner as well. $14.99's worth of value included at no extra charge here for you. You've got the mop, you've got the bucket, you've got the 3 heads to go with it. You've got everything you need here, haven't you, for $24.99? I would say, if you want to save time, if you want to do the job quicker and better, put it to the test right now. You've seen the challenges. You know, we've not just done light and easy challenges that any mop could do. We've given this massive challenges and it has risen to the occasion every single time. Call us right now. I'll give you a final look at the details on this one before we move on. Remember, you can, when we've moved on to the next price crash, you can still get this ordered, but do be quick because I don't know how far the stock will go, especially with this deal with the Floor Master included as well. So if you want it, 691220 is your item number. The ultimate spin mop and bucket with the 2 spare heads and that $14.99's worth of Floor Master as well. If you've got the mop already, by the way, and you want the Floor Master, you've got the item code on the right hand side for that as well. You can go on the website, of course, and buy it anytime you like, pricecrash.tv. Stay right where you are though, there's more prices crashing.